Have you ever reached a moment where life didn't just go wrong, it collapsed? Not slowly, not in phases, but all at once, like a bridge giving way beneath your feet. I have. And the truth is, nothing prepares you for the kind of silence that follows a personal catastrophe. It is the silence of a world you no longer recognize. The silence of an identity you can no longer inhabit. The silence of a future that suddenly disappears. Years ago, I met a man who lost everything in a single afternoon. A respected young athlete, talented, admired, already on the path to a national championship. But in one reckless moment, one mistake, one twist of fate, an accident shattered his spine. His identity died before he had time to understand he was still alive. And I remember the question he whispered months later. If I'm not who I was ... then who am I now? His story haunted me for years because I realized something most people never admit. When life collapses, it is not just the circumstances that die. It is the old version of you that dies with it. And the terrifying part? No one gives you instructions for what to do next. But here is the hidden truth that the broken usually discover before anyone else. Collapse isn't a grave. It is an initiation. A violent invitation into a self you would never have chosen willingly, but one you may eventually become grateful for. Because inside the ashes of who you were lies the blueprint of who you can become. In this video, I want to share that blueprint, not the one from the young warrior Musashi, but a modern, lived version forged in psychological research, human stories, and the timeless patterns that run through every transformation. If your life has fallen apart, you are not at the end. You are standing at the most important doorway you will ever face. Stay with me. And if you want more content that helps you rebuild with strength instead of despair, subscribe to the channel to support this journey. When your life collapses, the mind does something strange. It doesn't just break, it hides. It creates illusions, distractions, fantasies that numb the pain long enough for you to pretend the world is still intact. I used to think denial was weakness. Now I know it is instinct. The athlete I told you about spent weeks pretending the accident wasn't final. He imagined surgeries that didn't exist, breakthroughs that weren't coming, cures that were never promised. I've done the same in my life, in different ways. You have too. Because the brain hates irreversible truth. But there is a moment, hard, clean, merciless, when you finally confront reality without bargaining. That moment feels like swallowing broken glass. It feels like death. Yet strangely, it is the first moment you begin to live again. Acceptance doesn't mean approving what happened. It means acknowledging the battlefield you are standing on so you can stop fighting ghosts. Pain keeps you trapped. Clarity sets you free. And clarity leads to the second truth. Once you stop running from the wound, you stop bleeding. When someone loses everything, the world rushes to offer distractions disguised as comfort. Alcohol, endless scrolling, food, nightlife, fleeting intimacy, nostalgia, anything that numbs. Anything that lets the mind breathe for a moment. Anything that gives the illusion of life returning to normal. But numbness is not healing. It is anesthesia. And anesthesia, taken long enough, becomes poison. I watched it happen to people close to me. A friend whose relationship collapsed turned to nightlife to fill the silence. Another buried himself in work until his body surrendered. Someone else drowned heartbreak in alcohol until the drink became the new tragedy. The athlete made a different choice. He built discipline like a scaffold around his broken identity. Every morning he forced himself through rehabilitation exercises that made him tremble. Every evening he studied psychology, nutrition, anatomy, anything that might give him 1 inch of progress. He refused the easy escape because he understood that temporary relief steals long-term resurrection. There's a strange rule in human psychology. Chosen pain strengthens you. Avoided pain weakens you. Discipline does not save you because it is noble. Discipline saves you because it is the only thing stronger than despair. Once you stop running from pain and stop numbing it, something unexpected happens. The emotions intensify. Fear becomes sharper. Anger becomes heavier. Memories become louder. Your internal world becomes a battlefield. This is where most people break a second time. The athlete nearly did. When reality settled into his bones, he fell into rage so deep it frightened him. Rage at fate. Rage at his body. Rage at everyone who still had what he lost. But here is where the turning point came. A therapist taught him something that mirrors what ancient warriors discovered centuries earlier. Emotions are not commands. They are waves. And every wave has a peak. If you breathe through the peak, the wave breaks before it breaks you. He began practicing a simple breath. 4 seconds in, hold, 6 seconds out. One cycle. Then another. Then another. And slowly, the storm inside him lost its authority. He didn't become emotionless. He became ungovernable by emotion. And that, I learned, is the foundation of rebirth. You cannot rebuild your life until you reclaim your inner world. There is a moment, quiet, private, almost sacred, when you realize you can't go back. The old life is gone. The old identity is buried. And what remains is a blank page no one taught you how to write on. The athlete had that moment 2 years after his accident, when he wheeled himself outside and whispered, "I'm not going to be who I was. I'm going to be someone I've never met." He studied new fields, built new habits, and discovered passions he never knew existed. He trained his mind instead of his body and began mentoring others who faced the same darkness he once feared. He found purpose not in restoring what he lost, but in using what he learned. Pain became raw material. Discipline became structure. Perspective became oxygen. Gratitude became fuel, and slowly his new identity emerged from the ashes. One day someone asked if he would undo the accident if he could, and he paused before answering. "If I went back, I would lose the person I became." That's when I understood the deepest truth of collapse. The life that breaks you is not the same life that rebuilds you. When everything falls apart, you stand at a crossroads, one path leading to bitterness, the other to transformation. Rebuilding your life isn't about resurrecting the old you. It's about giving birth to the version only catastrophe could create. And now I ask you, when your world breaks, which path will you choose? If this helped you, subscribe to the channel, because sometimes the person you become after breaking is the one you were meant to be all along.